What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I've kind of done in the past for the most part, but today I'm actually going to be showing you guys a training that I did in my Facebook group called Balanced and Thriving. It's a newer Facebook group that I've just had in probably the last 6 months. So it's different than my old Nacho Average Fit Chick Facebook group. But anyway, so I did a training in there last week for a free challenge I was hosting about the 3 main mindset blockers that hold people back in their weight loss journey. So a lot of you know that mindset is something that's really important to me, something that I teach all the time, that I do trainings on, that I talk about with my clients, that really is the thing that ends up making the biggest transformation in my weight loss clients, my fitness clients. And so if you're thinking, oh, this sounds boring, like blah, 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 I'm telling you, if you follow me because you like my balanced approach to fitness, you believe that you should be able to lose weight and still enjoy the things that you love, but you struggle to be able to put that into practice, and you struggle with things like all or nothing thinking, self-sabotaging, binging and restricting. If you struggle with things like that, this training is for you. So whether you decide to actually watch this training or you just let it play while you do dishes or drive to work or whatever the case may be, I really, really think that this training will be super helpful for you. And so I'm going to put it here for you to listen to, but I also want to let you know this because I never am able to make this to YouTube by the time that I'm launching this, because I always just get so busy during Balance and Thrive launch. But surprise, surprise, Balance and Thrive is open for enrollment now. And I think this is probably the first time ever, like I said, that I've actually been able to announce it to YouTube while launch is still open. Usually it's like, hey, launch is happening soon. And then I disappear from YouTube for a month. And then I'm like, oh, we just wrapped up Balance and Thrive launch. Sorry, guys. Which I talk about Balance and Thrive a ton on Instagram, but I know a ton of you don't follow me there or you don't do Instagram. So I wanted to tell you about Balance and Thrive just for a second here before this little training starts. But essentially, Balance and Thrive is my 12-week group training program. It's a fitness and mindset program for women who are looking to have a balanced relationship with food, a balanced approach to fitness, who want to be able to lose weight without sacrificing their favorite foods, without sacrificing their mental sanity, their weekends, their ability to just feel free and normal with food and fitness in general, and yet struggle to actually make that happen. You see the way that I operate with food, with fitness, my mindset, my beliefs, and yet you can't seem to connect the dots to get there. You feel like you want to get there, but you don't know how. And you keep finding yourself in these cycles of restricting your food during the week only to binge on the weekend, or restricting your food as long as you can only to eventually just fall apart and overeat. You struggle with emotional eating, stress eating. You struggle with all or nothing thinking, feeling like if everything's not perfect, then I've messed up and I'm going to be screwing up all of my progress and I'm never going to reach my goals. If any of this is ringing a bell for you, first of all, this training is going to help you so much. But second of all, Balance and Thrive might just be the program for you to really help you get the transformation that you're looking for, to come out on the other end of this program feeling balanced, finding balance for yourself, actually being able to make it through a week without a binge or emotional eating, actually being able to be consistent with workouts for the first time and maybe forever, not falling off track, not dealing with the all or nothing thinking, feeling like if things aren't perfect, then they're broken or something's wrong with you. If that's the case, definitely check out the link to Balance and Thrive below. The program is only open for enrollment for about another week and a half, unless it fills up, which is very likely because it is, I think, about 65 to 70% full already. So definitely check that out, you guys. And if you have any questions, I'll have a way for you to just reach out to me if you want to reach out or have any questions about it. But I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to let you watch this training. I think it's going to really change your life. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll check in with a probably more normal video next week. Bye, guys.
Today's topic is what I really love to talk about. We're talking about mindset stuff. That's the sexy term for it. But I know that by now we've got some people who've maybe fallen off track. Maybe even maybe you've fallen off track in some way, shape, or form. Sorry, I have cat hair all over me. Where, maybe you haven't hit all the workouts you intended to, or you're not getting in the water you wanted to, or your diet hasn't been perfect. If that's the case, that's 1000% okay. We have to really normalize and become at peace with the idea of things not going perfectly. Us sometimes messing up or doing things imperfectly, we need to learn to become okay with that and realize that that's all right as long as we keep moving forward. Because otherwise, what usually happens is we mess up, we do something wrong, we do something that's less than perfect, we feel so guilty about it and so bad about it that we allow it to cause us to fall off track big time or to completely self-sabotage. And that sucks, right? Because that ends up holding us back, making us feel even worse, and we don't want that. What we want is to be able to keep moving forward, to not allow little things here and there, little missteps, little mistakes to cause us to fall off track. We want to learn to just move through those types of things. And that's mindset. That's mindset work. What we're going to be talking about today are the top 3 mindset blockers that I see with my clients. You guys know I'm a fitness coach. I've been a fitness coach for 6 years, and my specialty is mindset. Mindset work, limiting beliefs, the connection between mindset and weight loss, which is massive. And I think by the end of today, I'm going to have convinced you of that. A lot of times when we're trying to lose weight, we think it's just about behavior modification, right? Changing a habit, doing different behaviors, eating different things. But in actuality, weight loss goes a lot deeper than that. There is a huge mental, emotional battle that kind of goes on when we're trying to lose weight or even just trying to get healthier, because I don't want to just assume you guys all are here to lose weight. Some people just genuinely want to be healthier, and weight has nothing to do with it. But either way, the weight loss journey, the health journey, getting in better shape, it's such a mental battle in so many ways. And there's thought processes, or you could call them cognitive distortions that come up that really prevent us from moving forward. That's why I call them mindset blockers. They're things that come up that block us from being able to move forward. So we're going to dive into the top 3 ones that I see my clients deal with all the time. They're the ones that when I get a new client, it's almost guaranteed that they deal with all 3 of these things, or at least 2 of them. So first things first, the top mindset blocker that I see my clients deal with all of the time. And I'm going to say it, and you're going to know what I'm talking about. The all or nothing mentality. All or nothing mentality. What that is basically the practice of black and white thinking. The practice of thinking everything's great or it's terrible and it sucks. I'm doing incredibly well and I'm killing it, or I'm failing miserably and I suck and I'm horrible. A lot of people tend to think in these terms in general, not just in fitness, but in general. We are, as a human race, pretty black and white. Things are either great or they suck. Things are either awesome or they're terrible. Things are either winning or they're losing, right? A lot of the time, our brain likes to categorize things as good or bad. Now, add into the mix a possible perfectionist personality, which many of us are, and it's even worse, right? Because if you're a type A person, a perfectionist, it literally bothers you when anything is not perfect. Like, you're that person where, like, if you are writing out notes, they have to be super perfect. And the second that you, like, make a small mistake or have to scribble out something, it, like, drives you nuts. I get it. I'm not really a type A or perfectionist type person, but I can be about stuff like that, and I was in my fitness journey. So if that's you, I totally understand. That's literally the practice of all or nothing thinking, just manifesting in a different way. Believing that if things are not perfect, that if there's even one small fly in the ointment, then everything is ruined. And we do this with our fitness journey all of the time, right? We have some diet plan that we're trying to stick to, some workout plan, and we look at this plan, we're like, all right, I got to do this perfectly. I want to, like, eat all of the right things, and I want to do all my workouts and hit all my reps because it's going to make me feel so good, and it's going to make me feel like I'm doing it right, and it's going to make me feel like I'm going to get results, and it'll make me feel confident, right? We set out with these grand ideas of doing things perfectly. And then something happens, life happens, and things don't go perfectly, right? Whether it's you have to miss a workout because something comes up, or you miss a workout because you were just tired or lazy or unmotivated, or your diet goes astray because someone brings in donuts to the office and you just can't resist, or you're just tired at the end of a long day and so you eat something that's more calories than you know was according to your diet plan, right? Something happens and it makes you go, oh my gosh, I've ruined everything, right? Even if you're not necessarily thinking I've ruined everything, this little misstep has caused you to feel like things have been ruined, that your perfect, beautiful, clean sheet of paper now has a mark on it. And we don't like that. It makes us feel guilty. It makes us feel bad. It makes us feel like we've messed something up, right? We love the feeling of having done a workout plan perfectly for a week. We love the feeling of having dieted perfectly for a week. And when we don't, man, that makes us upset, right? That is all or nothing thinking starting to manifest. Thinking that if things are not perfect, if I mess up even a little bit, I have ruined them. I have ruined them. I have just destroyed it. Everything's wrong. With all or nothing mentality, we need to kind of speak back to that tendency within us and remind ourselves that just because things don't go perfectly doesn't mean that they're ruined. Just because you were supposed to hit 5 workouts this week and you only hit 4 doesn't mean that you failed. It means that you just got one less workout. Just because you were supposed to hit 1,600 calories every day this week, but one day you hit 1,800, doesn't mean that you failed. What we see a lot of times is this black or white. Either I passed or I failed. The goal was 1,600 calories, and anything outside of that is a failure. The goal was 5 workouts, and anything outside of that is failure. And how do we deal with failure? Think back to when you were a kid and let's say you like broke a lamp in your house, right? And you knew, oh my God, my mom's gonna find out. She's gonna be so mad at me. So what do? We hide the lamp, right? We hide because that's what guilt and shame makes us do. It makes us want to hide, right? So when we mess up in our fitness journey, what often happens is this shame and this guilt that makes us want to retreat. It makes us want to retreat. It makes us not want to keep going, not want to keep trying. It's almost like we just internally give up and we hide from our fitness goals and we really just self-sabotage, right? Because we have this overwhelming sense of, I've already screwed this up, so I might as well keep screwing it up. How many of you have ever experienced that you have a day that doesn't go perfectly, whether you overeat by a little or you overeat by a lot or you miss a workout? You feel so guilty and you feel so bad, like you've just really messed up your goals and you're down on yourself and you feel like you're never going to get your results. And that weight of that disappointment just compels you to eat more or just compels you to take the rest of the week off from workouts because you feel like such a failure, right? Or you figure, you know what, I already ruined this week. Like I already skipped a workout. I already fell off the plan. I didn't do it perfectly. This week is now ruined. So whatever, I'm just going to give up. I'm just going to eat everything that I've been craving and I'll start over tomorrow or I'll start over next week. How many of you have found yourself in this pattern? This is the all or nothing mentality, feeling like it's either everything or it's nothing. It's either perfect or it's a complete failure. That's another thing is when people will have to eat something that they don't know the macros for, it'll be so unsettling to them because they don't know what the macros are, what the calories are, that unsettling feeling will make them feel like, well, I could have ruined everything tonight. I might have ruined everything tonight. And that anxiety of it can compel them to just keep eating because they feel anxious and food is soothing. We use food to self-soothe. So a lot of times just that anxiety of feeling like I've messed up or I could have messed up really creates pressure for us to just emotionally eat. Here's our fitness journey when we're doing things perfectly, right? It's like we're constantly going up and up and up, and then something happens. We miss a workout, we overeat something, and what we feel like happens is this. We do this massive drop and everything has gone awry. But what really has happened when we make a small misstep, skip a workout, overeat, is this. A tiny little dip down. But if we were to allow it to stop there, not freak out, not feel like we failed, not self-sabotage, and just keep moving forward, we really would not have lost any ground. We really would keep moving forward, and a day from now, 2 days from now, 3 days from now, it would have been like the mistake never happened. Do you really think that you're not losing weight consistently because of an extra cookie here or one missed workout there? No. The reason you're not losing weight is because it's not because of small missteps. It's because of the huge binges, self-sabotage, the giving up on a workout for the whole rest of the week. That's what's holding back results. Not the one cookie, the extra serving of dinner, the going out to eat and ordering a drink and an appetizer. It's not the one thing, the one time. So we've got to stop letting ourselves think that little mistakes mean everything is ruined. And I know that that's an uncomfortable thought for people because it's kind of like having a clean piece of paper that's beautiful and clean and pristine and getting a mark on it and letting it sit there, right? My perfectionists are like, oh no, I don't think so. I'm scribbling all over that paper, throwing it out and starting with a new one. No, because we can't always do that. Not with our fitness journey. We cannot let every single mistake cause us to spiral and self-sabotage, throw away all of our efforts by overeating and not working out for days and then starting over on Monday. We have to stop that. We have to get comfortable with the little mark on the clean piece of paper and know that this is okay. I can handle this. I can get through this, and I'm going to move on. Now, I know that this is a difficult thing for some people. It doesn't come without practice. I'll tell you that. The first time that you try and practice that flexibility, that middle ground, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you can do it. And I literally, like, my girls in Balance and Thrive, like Christy just said the perfect example. She said, I went over my calories yesterday because I forgot to log my breakfast, but I just moved on. It's so much easier when you have the right mindset and you consistently practice being in that middle ground of realizing, hey, life happens. I'm going to just consistently be focused on moving forward and not let myself get so upset that I'm self-sabotaging. I think also hearing others say that it has to be perfect or else you don't want it hard enough, puts a lot of pressure on you. We need to just like get rid of the bullies of the fitness social media because they do not help. They do not motivate. They literally just provide more guilt and shame for us. So don't follow them. Follow me, because I'm always going to make you feel supported and loved. So we talked about all or nothing mentality. That's one of the biggest mindset blocks that I deal with my clients, literally something that blocks you from being successful. So we're going to talk about the second thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, and I'd be curious to see this group to see if this is something that they struggle with, but that is food guilt. Good food versus bad food. They feel like there are good foods that are okay to eat, that it's good for them to eat. And then there are bad foods, which are wrong for them to eat, unhealthy, going to make them fat. And if they ever eat those bad foods, because I don't believe they're bad foods, then they believe that they've done something wrong and they'll feel guilty. They will feel like I've messed things up, I am not going to lose weight now, and I've done something wrong, and they feel really bad. And that food guilt, it's similar to like the all or nothing mentality. That guilt shows up and it makes you feel like you've done something wrong and that you failed. And so you might as well give up. I know some people say they only feel guilty when they overeat, and I understand that. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people have a really good grasp of what I'm about to talk about, which is that food is not good or bad. It's just like calories. Like, it's not good or bad. But some people still have so much of diet culture ingrained in them that like everything we eat should be super clean and super healthy and super high protein and super vegan, organic, whatever. And I understand that because for probably your entire life and even to this day, diet culture still perpetuates the idea that there are good foods and bad foods, and that we are bad if we eat bad foods. We are going to be overweight or not be able to lose weight, or we're not healthy if we enjoy bad foods. But here's the thing. Food is not good or bad. Food has no morality. Let's just start there. Food is not good or bad. Food is just food. There are more nutritious foods and less nutritious foods. There are higher calorie foods and less high calorie foods, lower calorie foods, but they all have a place in our diet. All of them. Is if you like a certain food, you should eat it somewhat frequently. If you like McDonald's, I think you should have McDonald's once a week. If you like brownies, I think you should have brownies at least once a week. I like chocolate, so I have it 4 or 5 times a week. I like fast food, so I usually have it every other week. Just anything that you can think of that's like indulgent, I love. You guys, I love junk food. I love processed food. I also love healthy food. We have this idea about like good foods versus bad foods, and that is something that really can hold us back and be a mindset block, because even when we try to treat ourselves a little bit, we feel guilty. We feel bad for choosing a dessert. We feel bad for choosing something fried, because we think just because it's a less nutritious food that it's inherently bad for us and it's going to cause us to gain weight, and it makes us not on plan or falling off track. Melissa said, I want to eat processed foods. I just can't have a little. I want more and more. Melissa, that's actually a limiting belief. We all can self-moderate. It's just that your habit has been, whenever I eat processed foods, I eat more and more, but we can change that. We can change that behavior. We are not slaves to food. It may feel like it, but the truth is that we're not. We're not slaves to food. We can moderate ourselves. It just takes practice. I know this is hard to believe, but let's just boil down weight loss, how weight loss actually happens. I talked about this earlier in the week, but weight loss happens when we eat less calories than we're burning in a day. We all burn a certain amount of calories in a day. Maybe it's 2,000 calories, maybe it's 2,400 calories, right? We all burn a certain amount of calories in a day. As long as we're eating less calories than that, we will be losing weight. So if your body burns 2,000 calories a day on average, but you're eating 1,600 calories a day, even if that 1,600 calories includes some fast food or something fried or some chocolate, you will still lose weight. Over the last about year, I think I've dropped about 10 pounds, maybe like 7 to 10 pounds. I don't really weigh myself anymore, but I know I've lost weight. I can tell in my clothes, I can tell in my face. You guys see what I eat. S'mores, Cadbury eggs, movie theater popcorn, cheese boards, lots of cheese, macaroni and cheese. I eat out at least once or twice a week. I eat these things and lose weight, not because I have a great metabolism. If I did not clear that up earlier this week, my whole family is overweight. Every single family member of mine has dealt with obesity at some point in their lives, or they currently still do. I do not have a great metabolism. I am not lucky. I was not born thin. I was born a chunkster. I am able to lose weight while eating these foods because I moderate them. And that's where I think some of us miss it, is that we think that we only want to enjoy junk foods or unhealthy foods in large quantities, and that it's only satisfying if we do it in large quantities. But that's really because that's been your relationship to that food up until this point. We talk about that in Balance and Thrive a lot, about changing our relationship to the foods that we eat so that we are able to actually moderate the foods that we love, so that we can have foods like chocolate without having to go overboard. We can have foods like French fries without going overboard. And when you realize that you can have these foods and also lose weight, when that truth finally sinks in, it will help you get rid of the food guilt. It really will. But I think we need to practice moderation so we can literally teach ourselves this truth. Because if every time you eat French fries, you feel like you cannot have less than 1,500 calories of them, then yeah, your brain is going to start to think, well, whenever I eat French fries, I gain weight. No, it's whenever you eat 1,500 calories of French fries, maybe you gain weight. But French fries themselves do not cause weight gain. Chocolate itself does not cause weight gain. No food on earth has the chemical compound that just turns into fat. It doesn't happen. We gain weight when we eat more calories than our body can burn in a day. But as long as we're in a calorie deficit, we will be able to lose weight no matter what we're eating. Now, that's not an invitation to just eat crap all the time, because we also care about our health. So we want to make healthy food a priority. But if you want to have a king-size cookies and cream Hershey bar like I did today, 380 calories of sugar and butter, baby, then you can do that. And you can still lose weight. And we need to learn to accept that truth, because it is a truth. It's absolutely a truth. So we talked about the top 2 mindset blockers just now. We talked about all or nothing mentality. We talked about good food versus bad food and just food guilt. And now the last one I want to talk about is a big one, probably the one that most of you will, it might be a tie with number 1, but it's going to probably be something that we all struggle with. I know I struggled with this one for years, and that is binging and restricting. Or maybe just binging. Or maybe just restricting. Everybody is kind of different on where they fall on this spectrum, but in case you're unfamiliar with what those words mean, I think they're pretty self-explanatory, but essentially, a lot of people who want to lose weight or who want to diet, whatever, they restrict themselves, right? They cut their calories really low, or they restrict food groups, or they say, I can't have carbs, I can't have sugar, I can't have this, or they'll cut their calories really low and they'll restrict calories, and they'll say, I'm only eating 1,200 calories, I'm only eating 1,000 calories, or they'll just restrict themselves in some way. And we've all been there, we've all tried a diet that restricts a food group or extreme calories or sugar or carbs or fat or types of food, right? We've all tried this, and what happens? We might be able to last for a day, a couple of days, a week, maybe a couple of weeks, but what always happens? The cravings build up. We think they're going to go away, but they just seem to get worse. We feel like everyone else is eating all of the food we wish we could eat, and we're missing out. And then what happens? One day comes, and we just can't hold back anymore. We're like, you know what? I just want French fries. Give me the freaking French fries. Oh, and you know what? Give me the ranch too. Oh, and you know what? I want a burger. And you know what? We're ordering pizza tomorrow, right? It's like all these cravings come tumbling out and you binge. You just overeat, you eat the things you've been craving, and then what happens? You feel horrible. You might physically feel horrible because you've eaten so much, but you mentally and emotionally feel horrible. You feel like, I've done it again. I said I wasn't going to do this. I said the last time that I was going to lose weight for real, and here I am again. I've just overeaten a ton. Why did I do this? This is going to set me back so much. How am I ever going to get past this? How am I ever going to lose weight? Any of this sounding familiar? Because this was literally my life for years. For years. I would try every week to get back on track and cut out sugar, eat super healthy, high protein, low calorie, low carb, and I would try to eat perfectly all week, and then it seems that by the weekend, it's like I couldn't hold back anymore. I just wanted restaurant food and dessert and ice cream and cookies, and it's like once I had one of them, it was like unstoppable. I felt like I couldn't stop eating that stuff. What ends up happening is this cycle, this restriction cycle of trying to count calories or count them really low, or cut out food groups, cut out whatever, and then it only seems to last for a while before you give in and you binge. And binging can mean different things. Some people will eat a sleeve of Oreos and say they binged, and other people will order a pizza, eat a whole pizza, half a gallon of ice cream, some cookies on top of that, right? It's really not about the quantity of food for the people that I work with. It's more so the fact that this is an annoying habit that people feel out of control of. And it can be really frustrating because you're trying to lose weight, except it seems like every time you just start to get ahead, you binge. And you feel out of control of it. You feel like every week you promise yourself you're not going to do it again, and yet it seems to keep happening. What's happening here? So think about it like this. We've all seen, if you've been in Balance and Thrive, you've seen this example, but think of a pendulum, right? A pendulum is like that thing that like it swings like this. You like pull it one way and it goes like boop, 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 right? We all know what a pendulum is. If not, you understand the laws of science and gravity. So we know that when we pull the pendulum all the way this way, what happens? It's going to come back with equal and opposite force and go all the way the other direction and keep swinging back and forth, equal and opposite force, right? So this is your diet. And when you restrict, you pull it all the way over here. No candy, no ice cream, no sugar, no carbs. I'm going to count all of my calories and be perfect, and everything's going to be perfect, and no alcohol and no, right? Restriction. Restrict, restrict, restrict. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. You are pulling that food relationship all the way over here and putting a ton of pressure on it. And what has to happen at some point? When you let go, it's going to swing hard in the other direction. And that's when you binge, because you've had all this pent up energy in your restriction. You've been thinking about all the foods you want to eat, thinking about everything you're missing out on, thinking about everything that everyone else is getting. And when you have even a single moment of weakness, it's like unstoppable, and it just swings all the way over there, and you go hard with food. And it's an energy thing. When you restrict so much, your body and mind is going to ask for a release. It's going to do that. It's going to ask for a big release because you've been restricting it so hard. So what's the answer here? How do we break up this cycle? Well, first of all, what if the pendulum, instead of being super restricted, was more in the middle, right? Maybe we do some restraint, some moderation, so we pull it a little bit this way, and then maybe one day you're like, dang it, I just want the cookie, so you have the cookie. It goes a little bit that way. And then the next day you're like, oh, let's eat a little bit healthier today. Let's just have some veggies and let's eat well. And then the next day you're like, but I love that cake my husband brought home. I'll have a slice, right? So instead of these huge restriction and huge binge, we're giving ourselves little graces and little allowances to eat some of the things that we love. So the relationship with food is staying somewhere in the middle. We're not restricting too much, but we're not indulging too much. We're practicing moderation and we're practicing balance. I'm going to have my veggies, and also if I want a cupcake, I'll probably fit one in. But also I care about my health, so I'm going to be eating protein. But also I love cake pops, so I'm going to have one every time I go to Starbucks, right? Middle ground. Middle ground. Because this little movement is really easy to feel good about. This little movement where you're not having the extremes of restricting or the extremes of binging, this is where you're going to see results. This is where you're going to feel good. This is where you're going to feel confident in yourself. And when you're going to start believing you can do this, is that middle ground. And we do that intentionally. We do it intentionally. That means on the day that you feel like your diet has been perfect, maybe you throw in a candy bar in there just to shake things up a little bit, just to challenge that idea of having to be perfect. Maybe on your day that you've been eating super healthy, but you're craving a burger, maybe just have one, or split one with somebody and have half. Maybe that day that you're at work and you see somebody brought in cookies and you're like, oh my God, I would kill for a cookie. Instead of saying, no, I'm not allowed to have one, why don't you just have one? And either track it and fit it into your day, or you just have one and you move on. It's a cookie. It's like 150 calories. If you're 150 calories over your goal, oh my God, you'll live, right? We have to intentionally include the foods we love into our diet. I do things all the time, like fit in Cadbury eggs, fit in Hershey's cookies and cream candy bars. I literally had one that was like, that's what I had in the middle of the day today. It's just a Hershey's cookies and cream bar. I fit in s'mores. I fit in ice cream. I fit in pasta. I fit in restaurant food. I fit in that stuff as often as I can afford to, because when I do that, something else beautiful happens. That food stops being rare to me. And when it's not rare, I don't want it as much. You want burgers and pasta and candy and chocolate because you never let yourself have it. So then when you do let yourself have it, when you're binging, your brain is thinking, this is my chance. This is my only opportunity. I've got to eat this. I've got to eat it now because this is my shot. Tomorrow I have to go back to my restrictive diet. But what if you had it every day or almost every day? I use the example with my Balance and Thrive girls. I've used this example in this group as well, but I did this, I purposely practiced this with Oreos. That was a food that I would just like eat a lot. I did it with Doritos too, but Doritos and Oreos, those were two foods that any time that I would get my hands on them, I would like binge them. I would overdo them, I would overeat them, and it felt like uncontrollable. So I wouldn't let myself have them in the house. I would never let myself eat them. If I ate them, it was because I was having an off day or a binge day or a cheat day, and I was just going to eat loads of them. But I was really sick of that because I knew I can't have it be where like anytime I'm around cake, I have to have 4 slices. I can't have it be that anytime I'm around pizza, I have to have 6 slices. I can't have this relationship with food where I'm always eating healthy, or if I ever treat myself at all, I go crazy. I can't do this. So what I did was I got a package of Oreos, which normally if I kept it in my house, I would down it in a day, one whole day. I would eat that whole package of Oreos. But I said to myself, Lynette, we need to stop making Oreos rare. You binge them because they are so rare in your life. And so when you see them, you feel like, uh-oh, I'm never going to get these anytime soon, so I got to eat them all. I had created that relationship with that type of food. So I bought Oreos. I brought them to my house. I sectioned them out into serving sizes. In case you didn't know, a serving size of Oreos is 2. Yes, it's sad, but that's how it is. So I sectioned it out into serving sizes of 2 Oreos, and I put them in a bunch of different plastic bags. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm having 2 Oreos a day for the next 10 days. I'm having 2 Oreos a day for the next 10 days. I'm going to fit it into my calorie goal for the day, and I'm going to do it. And at first, having all those Oreos in my house, was it tempting? Yes. I was like, oh, I want to eat all of these Oreos. It's just really frustrating because I never get Oreos. I really want them. But I was like, no, you're going to have 2 Oreos a day for the next 10 days. So day 1, I had my 2 Oreos, and it was just frustrating because it was like, I'd rather just be eating all of them or none of them. Like, this is annoying, which I get. The second day, I felt kind of similar. It was like, oh, like for these 90 calories, I could just be eating something else that's more worth it. Like, why? This is so dumb. Like, I want to just eat all of the Oreos right now. But I made myself just eat 2. On day 3, day 4, I kept doing it. And finally, by day 5 and 6, I started feeling kind of like, I'm actually starting to enjoy having my 2 Oreos every day. And also, I wasn't as tempted to binge them because I knew I'm getting 2 Oreos tomorrow. And I'm getting 2 Oreos the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And so because of that, that urgency, that scarcity around Oreos started disappearing. And by day 10, Oreos were like, I could take them or leave them. didn't really have a pull to me anymore. And they used to be one of my favorite cookies. I did the same with Doritos, Cool Ranch Doritos, which are the best Dorito or you're wrong. I did that with Doritos as well, where I sectioned them out, and because that was a big trigger food for me that I was always overeat. And I told myself, no, like we're gonna have a serving a day for the next 8 to 10 days. And now it's the same thing with Doritos. I love Doritos, but I can keep a bag in my house for a week, 2 weeks. And I don't binge it, I don't overeat it because it's not rare to me anymore. I have done this as a whole with all junk foods and non-nutritious foods. I have a little bit all of the time. So this food is not rare to me. You bring a pizza in here and I go, oh, I have pizza almost weekly. I'll have it if I want it, but I don't need 7 slices because I know that if I want pizza, I'm going to probably get it in like 3 days. You bring a cheese board in here with like cheese and crackers and salami and jams and nuts. I love it, but you know what? If you follow me on Instagram, then you know. I have a cheese board at least 2 or 3 times a month. You bring anything in here, I'm just really not going to go nuts about it because you know what? I have chocolate pretty much every day. I have fast food every other week. I have a cheese board 2 or 3 times a month. I have chips 2 or 3 times a week. I have pizza probably once a week. Like, what are you going to bring to me that's going to cause me to act out? None of this is rare to me anymore because I practiced moderation with it until my body and my brain got used to having it and started realizing, oh, we're going to have this stuff around for a while. We don't have to binge it. We don't have to hoard it. It's here to stay. And I can have 2 cookies today because I know if I want 2 cookies later, they will be here and I will be allowed to have them. And that is how you break up that binging restrict cycle, is through practicing that moderation. And that is the hard part though, practicing that moderation, that actual practice of doing it can be really difficult for people. But you know, that's what I work on week by week in Balance and Thrive with my girls. We go through the practice of that. We workshop that. We have little challenges to help us do that. And that's why my girls are so successful. And they're here in the group today being like, yeah, I don't worry about this anymore. This doesn't bother me anymore because we work step by step through this. I'm telling you guys all this tonight and you're probably like, whew, I finally have the answers. I'm going to do this. I'm never going to binge again. But remember, knowledge is not power. It's helpful, but what's really powerful is application. Knowledge is not power, action is. Action and application. Being able to actually apply these things into your life and to pull them off, and that's the tricky part. But just knowing this today is your first step. This is step 1 of understanding yourself, understanding why dieting is a mindset issue. It's a mindset issue. It's not a physical issue because the more we try to modify behavior and ignore what's really going on up here, the worse it gets and the more frustrated you get. How many times have you told yourself that, like, okay, self, I gotta pull it together. Pull it together. Come on, dude. Just go to the gym. Come on, dude. Just stop binging. And it's like the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse it gets. I feel you, dude. Because dieting is not a behavior problem. You binging and restricting, it's not a behavior problem. It's a mindset problem. So is this making sense to you guys? Does this clarify things for you or help you? Because my goal is just to help bring clarity to this, because you guys hear me talk about mindset on social media, and I think sometimes it's hard to connect the dots. I think we hear like, yeah, all or nothing mentality, yeah, binging, restricting, but like, I just need to be a better dieter. Like, I just need to get my crap together. When in actuality, it all comes back to mindset. And if we just keep trying to modify behavior, we're just going to be frustrated. We have to go to the root of the issue, which is in our heads. It's in our heads, our hearts, our emotions. So yeah, I hope again that this was helpful for you guys.